What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Jennifer Rush. And we're continuing with the album Passion 1988. Thank you again to Darren for the 5-album compilation, as well as the curated playlist of her music videos, which I've begun to go through over on my Patreon. And we're on to side 2, were this an LP of the album. And the first track on the second side is Same Heart, and it's a duet with Michael Bolton. Quick side note, I remember when he rose to very prominent popularity in the 90s, I want to say. Maybe it was indeed the late 80s, but certainly in the US there was a phase where he was always on the radio. And I think because of that, eventually there was that like pop culture backlash where I remember it was sort of cool to make fun of Michael Bolton for being so ubiquitous and perhaps for being seen as a bit sappy with his songs. I never really followed his music, which isn't a knock, and in fact I actually adopted a contrarian attitude in that I remember when people would make jokes, I would always like, have you ever actually heard his songs, or are you just saying that because you know he's popular and it's cool when you're a teenager? Because I was a teenager in the 90s, and when you're a teenager it's often cool not to like things that are perceived as very popular. So yes, I don't know if that was more regional and specific to my little musical and cultural bubble in Southern California in the 90s, but again, I remember there was this perception that it wasn't cool to like Michael Bolton, maybe in part because he had risen to success very rapidly in certain circles. Nevertheless, this is, as I said, from 1988, so maybe this was prior to that dynamic, at least where I came from. In any case, I wonder whether the sonic stylings might be at all influenced by his presence. Maybe it's literally just his vocals and there was no impact on the production of the tune. But at the very least, I'm keen to hear Jennifer do a duet with a male singer, and I wonder if there's a dialogue, meaning if they're playing characters. Of course, they just could be singing about the same themes and concepts, but Same Heart would seem to suggest a shared heart, maybe two people having the same heart, it's beating at the same time or with the same intensity, or is felt simultaneously by both of them. It could be about time, meaning they were together, maybe they're not, but they share the same heart, and thus there's still a possibility for the reigniting of the passion they felt before. So I feel like there's some possibilities afoot. Of course, those thoughts may have nothing to do with what the song is actually about. Let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Jennifer Rush in duet with Michael Bolton, and the song is Same Heart from the 1988 album Passion.
It's been a long, long time
you back, you'll still be ten for you. And once you die, baby, we'll always have the same heart. It's the same heart. You're not gonna be the same heart. It's what's close to you. Once you die, you'll still be ten for you. Same heart, baby. Imagine being in the studio when they're laying down those vocals. It's like, oh my God. And also, it's unfair to my brain to have a saxophone come in and flourish right as Jennifer's also giving a power, fiery belt. Like, those two things entering my brain at the same time, I'm surprised I didn't explode in that moment. So yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And I was thinking in advance that isn't one of Bolton's sonic stylings that he has saxophone? I don't know if he played saxophone. Maybe I'm conflating him with Kenny G or something, but either way, I was not surprised to hear a saxophone. Now, of course, we've heard sax on Jennifer's tunes prior to this, but I just wonder if the presence of that saxophone had anything to do with this being a duet with Michael Bolton. Nevertheless, I think they both sound great vocally. They both have a bit of rasp and fire. And I think my second thought about the title of the song was more or less running in the right direction. That they used to have this passionate fire together. They eventually made a decision to go their separate ways. It sounds like maybe she was the one who really made the final decision and cut it off and left him behind. But it sounds like time has passed, she's wiser, she's made a point to say, but by and large, she's still the same person, she still loves him, and the heart that he once gave himself over to and that she shared with him, it's still the same heart. And it feels like they're both kind of making that statement that for all the time that passed and for everything that's happened between, and it sounds like maybe she went to somebody else in the intervening period, but he circled back around, he had to come by and say hello. I don't know if this was a chance encounter or if it actually was a more deliberate reunion, or at least from one side, meaning if he reached out to her or maybe she reached out to him. Either way, it sounds like the message is, look, things may be different, time may have passed, but deep inside, this heart is still the one that you knew, and it still has passion for you. So it sounds like this is indeed the beginning of a reconvening and a reignition of their passion together. So yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment. It is interesting. What was the line? That we could never just be friends. So maybe that was part of it. Maybe the idea is we were together, it didn't quite work out, we had to go our separate ways for the time being, but here it is at a later date, and now that we're back together and both feeling our hearts being the same, it can become something significant again. But the idea that they couldn't stay in contact in the intervening period because there just wasn't room for them to be regular friends. So either way, I like the dynamic, very pacey or rapid fire nature of the production. Like the bass line had a lot of energy and groove to it, and the keys, the synths, they had a very aggressive or like forceful quality to them. So yeah, not like long sweeping pad synths, but very active and dynamic synth work in the track with some big explosions. I mean, the chorus was a big upswelling of intensity. So yeah, it's a winner in my book. I love the sax, and that moment where the sax came in with some gusto right as Jennifer was belting out. Again, I don't know how I survived that. I wish you could see Luca down here. She's like rolling around, and she's like on her back, looking very silly and adorable. In any case, shout out once again to Darren and all those following the Jennifer deep dive. And once again, I've begun doing a couple video reactions from her on my Patreon, and more will be coming, so check that out if you're interested. In any case, I will see you for the next one. Peace.